I travel frequently for work, all over this big, beautiful world, and sometimes instead of bringing home souvenirs, I bring home ideas and inspirations from the places I visit instead. I've been thinking for some time about creating an outdoor hot soaking tub or an outdoor shower at home at our Pacific Northwest cabin, especially after recent visits to the Aleyeska Nordic Spa, the thermal pools in the Azores, Japanese onsen, and the Camp Olowalu Tentalos in Maui. There's just something special about the peace and relaxation you can find in nature when you combine hot water and the outdoors. There's a unique calm and quiet that can be found in slowing everything down for a little while at least. In this video, I'll show you how I finally built my off-grid mobile temporary outdoor hot soaking tub and shower, start to finish in about an hour, and how you can too. It's pretty easy. Let's go over some of the equipment and material I used for the project. I bought a new hose, a 3/4 inch boiler drain for the stock tank tub, a Binobella bath pillow, a hose leader for the drain assembly, some long tie wraps to attach the propane hot water heater to the hand truck, a stock tank cover, our propane tank from our barbecue, my new Flame King propane instant hot water heater, an old hand truck from the shed, and a new Rubbermaid 100-gallon stock tank. Okay, now let's start putting everything together. I didn't want to have to unscrew the stock tank drain every time I used it, so my first step was to install the boiler drain and leader hose to the bottom of the stock tank. I've found that the easiest way to find the right fittings is to go to a farm store or a hardware store and just try them out first. Your assembly material may be different depending on your tank, of course. And don't worry about remembering all of the materials. I'll link everything in the description below to make it easier. It was a pretty cold morning, so I was thrilled for some help from my handsome husband who always helps me with my endless what-if projects around the cabin. With a leveled tub, we started to unbox the Flame King propane instant hot water heater. This was the part of the project I had been most concerned about. I'd done hours of research, and I finally picked an instant hot water heater that operated only on 2D batteries and propane, and also one that was only controlled by the on-off switch on the shower handle, not by pushing a bunch of buttons or dials on the main unit. I wasn't sure how I might mount this or use this in the future, and I wanted it to be as easy as possible. We found a couple of batteries in the house, and it was pretty easy to put them in the water heater. On the heater, there are 3 lines: propane in, and water out. Pretty simple. All very well marked and labeled. It only took about a minute to put together the shower hose and the shower head assembly. The next step was to connect the propane line and the water in and the water out lines. I hooked up my new hose to the closest spigot on the cabin, and after initially wrestling with the ball of hose, I was pretty impressed at how lightweight and flexible it was. This particular hot water heater has to have water pressure to work. There's no onboard pump, but in a true off-grid situation, you could create a gravity fall system or use a rechargeable transfer pump to bring water in. We secured the propane tank to the hand truck with the tie wraps, and then set to tie wrapping the hot water heater to the top of the hand truck. Again, this is my temporary mobile setup until I decide where I'd like to eventually mount it. A few more connections, then we were on the move to the tub area. It was interesting thinking about having a hot water setup that was mobile. We could use it for projects, we could move the tub to different places on the property, use it for outdoor pet washing, and even load up the whole setup and take it camping with us this summer. The last connection was the hose line from the yard spigot. And just like that, pushing the button on the shower head to on, the propane hot water heater lit up and started pushing out lots of hot water. It only took a short time to get really hot water into the tub. I was absolutely thrilled that it worked. It took about 20 minutes to fill the stock tank, just enough time to grab my swimsuit, a towel, and yes, a glass of wine and head back out. I ended up using a meat thermometer to get an idea of the actual water temperature, important because this hot water could scald you if it's too hot. With the bath pillow in place, wine poured, tub water to almost 104 degrees, time for the test run. It was everything I had hoped it would be, warm, relaxing, and peaceful. I had a giant smile on my face, and I was already thinking about how amazing mornings would be out here. The next morning was pretty cold, and I headed out to start up the tub and ran back into the house. I grabbed my coffee thermos, my swimsuit, my Teva sandals, and my winter jacket and headed back out. I noticed that the water temps were a little bit lower than the day before, but still in my 104-degree comfort range. I have to say that now I think mornings in my tub are my favorite. Now some build details. The all-in cost for this project was under $500, and it took about an hour to assemble. The bath pillow really does add to the comfort of the tub, and the stock tank water temperature only dropped about 3 degrees in 40 minutes on the cold morning. If you use a metal stock tank, there might be more of a temperature fall off. Again, I'll link all of these items in the description below. If you've received value from this video, I'd like to invite you to subscribe. It really does help the channel out, and I'd love to hear about your tub builds in the comments section below.